Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we're going to take a look at my Game Week 26 team selection. Now, spoiler alert, you guys already know when you clicked into the video that I am wildcarding in Game Week 26. So initially my plan was to wildcard in 33 and then bench boost in 34, but I've brought it forward now, and I'll go through some of the reasons why I've done so before we actually look at how my Game Week 26 wildcard draft is currently looking like. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this video, and if you do, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. So let's quickly get Game Week 25 out of the way. I was at 303k before the game week, but now I've dropped 327k, so a small red arrow. I'm not too disappointed with it, especially considering that I took a -8, right? So I am on 82 points net for Game Week 25, which is not too bad. Now for Kepa in goals, he didn't do that well. He didn't manage to keep a clean sheet, so 1 point for him. Conceded 2 goals against Spurs as well, right? And then in defense, there's Tarkowski and Bueno, who both didn't score very well. Tarkowski, no clean sheets for him this double game week. Bueno as well, same for him, just that in the second game against Liverpool, right, he was taken off at 30 minutes because he was injured, right? He pulled up his hamstring in the 30th minute, and that's why he was taken off. So pretty unlucky there, but in the end, Liverpool also scored 2 goals against Wolves, so he wouldn't have scored a lot more. Right, and then for Trent and Ben White, pretty happy with them, both 13 points each, and I'm going for Trent ahead of Darwin Núñez as my second Liverpool asset. I'm quite happy with that decision because Darwin Núñez actually only scored 2 points, right? So that was a good decision there, going for Trent instead of Darwin Núñez. 13 points for him, and then for Ben White as well, 13 points there, 2 clean sheets for Arsenal this double game week, so great score for Ben White. Now in midfield, Mahrez 1 pointer, pretty unlucky there. He didn't start the game and he came on for a 1 pointer, but that is the risk with keeping Mahrez that I knew I would have to deal with. And then for the other 3 players, they did score quite well. Salah 22 points because of the captaincy, right? His goal came in really clutch because I would have been on a bigger red arrow if he didn't score the goal, right? And then Odegaard 11 points as well. Saka 15 points. Saka did really well this game week, so for those of you guys who captained him ahead of Salah, you are slightly ahead of the Salah captainers by 4 points because Saka did score 4 more points than Salah this week, right? So kudos to those of you guys who went for Saka ahead of Salah. Now up front, Nonto 1 pointer, he got a yellow card and got taken off at the 60th minute against Southampton, so that was pretty unlucky, but you know, it is what it is. And then beside him is Erling Haaland, who did really well, scored 10 points as well. So there we go, this is how I did for Game Week 25, and let's now take a look at my Game Week 26 plans. So before we take a look at my Game Week 26 wildcard draft and how it's looking like at the moment, I wanted to discuss a little bit about why I've brought forward my wildcard now into Game Week 26 instead of saving it for 33 like the initial plan was. So on the screen right now, we have this fixture graphic from Ben Krellin from Game Week 26 all the way till Game Week 38, and basically these are the fixtures that we need to navigate for the rest of the season. Right, so before we jump into this graphic, I just wanted to shout out Ashton and Tony, who are members in our Discord, who have contributed loads of intelligent discussions as to whether we should wildcard in 26, 27, 29, or even 33, right? Save it for 33 to bench boost in 34. So loads of great discussions and interactions going on in our Discord. For those of you who are interested, do check out the link in the description to become a YouTube member or a patron, and then you can join our Discord and interact with all the other members as well. So jumping into this graphic, some of the results midweek for the FA Cup have shaped some of the blanks and doubles moving forward and caused a little bit of change. So Leicester losing to Blackburn, Spurs and Southampton losing their FA Cup games as well have caused the blanks and doubles in the future to be smaller than expected. So basically the blanks are smaller blanks and the doubles are smaller doubles, right? So essentially what this means is that the future blanks and the future doubles are much easier to navigate. Now, I just wanted to touch a little bit about why I've brought the wildcard forward now in the Game Week 26. So aside from the obvious reasons of loading up on Brighton and Brentford, which would be what most wildcard 26 drafts would be doing, right, to prepare for the Game Week 27 double, some of the other reasons, and I think in totality, all these reasons add up together to make a Game Week 26 wildcard attractive, right? So first is that I can get Kane back for his great fixture run because I just sold him last week to fund Salah, right? But now Liverpool play Manchester United. I don't really want Liverpool players, and then I can now get Kane back for his great fixture run, as you can see on the screen right now. Now, aside from that, I can also address players like Bueno who are peripheral players who have got injured, and I basically want to swap them out for some assets who are more enablers at this point in time that I want because they double moving forward, right? And then Mahrez as well is someone that I want to sell who's in my team still. I can sell him. Right, so and another key reason as well, right, is that a bench boost 29 at this point in time is looking much more attractive than a bench boost 34, because 34 is looking like a much smaller double game week than imagined. So initially I wanted to save the wildcard till game week 33 so that I can bench boost in 34 for that rather big double as well. But because it's so small now, it can actually be navigated. I can actually get to a bench boost 34 squad with just a couple of free transfers after game week 29. So basically my transfers from 26 all the way up till 29, I can focus on that big double for 29, and then from 30 all the way to 34, I can focus on loading up on the doublers there. So essentially saving the wildcard all the way till 33 may not be so useful after all, right? Because I can get to the squad that I want to just using free transfers. Now, Wildcard 26 also saves me taking hits now. It also buys me extra fixtures for the overall state of my team, because bringing in Brentford and Brighton players means that I can load up on extra fixtures now, which I won't get if I wildcard in 33 instead, right? And on top of that, looking at how the fixtures fall, right, navigating game weeks 30 to game week 38 does not look that difficult because of how small the blanks are and how small the doubles are as well. So essentially, at this point in time, game week 26 wildcard is really attractive for my team at this point in time, and that's why I've activated the wildcard. And essentially, from the number of changes I've made, right, I've made 9 transfers on my wildcard, which essentially makes it worthwhile from a perspective of how many players I'm changing out as well. And on top of this, by bringing the wildcard forward now into game week 26, I also save a chip. Right? I don't have to free hit in 28, 27, or 29 to maximize my players from those game weeks, because basically I wildcard and I take into account 27, 28, 29, and the future double game weeks. And I can save the free hit chip for either 32, 34, or 37 whenever I need it. So essentially, those are the reasons why I've brought forward the wildcard till now in Game Week 26. Let me know what you guys think as well. Are you intending to wildcard in Game Week 26, or are you going to save it for later on? Do let me know down in the comments below. So here it is. Here is my Game Week 26 wildcard draft, and it's where I'm at the moment. So some players are locked in, while some players may still leave the team if I decide to bring in other players for them. Right, so I will confirm all my picks on the deadline stream as always. So do join me 3 hours before the deadline, where I will confirm my entire wildcard team. Right, so currently this is where I'm standing. I've gone for Kepa and Raya in goal. Basically, I've gone for them simply because they both double in Game Week 29. Raya, of course, because he doubles in Game Week 27 as well. Now, instead of going for maybe Ward or maybe Sanchez, right, I've gone for the combination of Kepa plus Raya. Now, for Sanchez, the reason why I've gone without him is because I think one Brighton defensive asset is already enough, and I think Estupiñán is the best one to have. I do think like the news from De Zerbi is pretty positive, right, that he will be back soon. So even if he doesn't feature in Game Week 26, I think moving forward he will be able to feature, especially for the doubles, and that's why I've just included him here in the team. I will take a look at the press conferences before the deadline stream to take a look at how likely Estupiñán is to be back as well. Alright, so currently Estupiñán is the reason why I haven't gone for Sanchez, because I only want one Brighton defensive coverage. The rest will be attackers, as we'll cover later. And then for Ward as well, I'm not too confident of Leicester's clean sheets at this point in time, so I'm alright to pay a little bit more for a keeper like Raya or Kepa. Right, so that's why I've gone for these two keepers. As for the defenders, I've gone for Estupiñán, as I mentioned just now. He doubles in 27 and 29. I think he has good attacking threat as well. And Brighton haven't been keeping a lot of clean sheets, but because Estupiñán is very attacking, I think he can get away with that. Right, so Now, for the rest of the picks, I've gone for Zinchenko, Pinnock, and then on the bench, Trippier and Botman. Now, for Zinchenko, I think pretty much I will want an Arsenal defender, and at this point in time, Zinchenko is coming off back-to-back assists in the games that he's played recently. He's taking that inverted fullback role and currently being quite close to the goal. He has also taken a couple of shots, so his attacking threat is there as well. So I like Zinchenko a little bit more than Gabriel, so that's why he's in the team now. Pinnock as well. I've gone for Pinnock ahead of Ben Mee because basically he is 0.6 mil cheaper, right? So I want to save that money because moving forward, I do have plans to bring in other doublers, right? So that money will come in handy for me later on. So that's why I've gone for Pinnock there. On the bench, Trippier and Botman, basically, I want them for their fixture in game week 28 where they play Nottingham Forest, and that's the blank as well. So do make sure to include some Newcastle assets because Newcastle will play Nottingham Forest in game week 28. So basically that's why I want to double up in the defense there, and on top of that in 29 they double too, right? So I'm pretty happy with that. And defensively, we already know that Newcastle are one of the stronger defenses in the league, so I have no qualms getting Botman, who is a really cheap enabler as well. Now in midfield, I've gone for McAllister, Rashford, Odegaard, Saka, and then on the bench there's Solly March. Now Solly March is also another player that is currently yellow flagged, but I do think it is likely he'll be back in time. So of the Brighton attackers, I will want to double up on them. I've gone for March and McAllister in this draft, but of course, depending on the news, I may take March out and I may bring in Mitoma instead. We'll take a look at how the press conference goes. But basically, I want McAllister simply because of the set pieces, right? He's on penalties, he's on free kicks, he does have a good shot in him as well. If he plays at number 10 role, he is really good and actually the best out of the other three attackers, right? But at this point in time, I'm not 100% nailed that I do want McAllister as well, simply because if he plays that number 8 role, that kind of puts him as the worst out of the three as well. So I'm a little bit iffy on McAllister. I may take him out for Mitoma, but currently this is where I'm standing with the Brighton attackers. Now, for the other three, I think it's pretty standard. It's going to be Rashford, Odegaard, and Saka. Odegaard and Saka simply because Arsenal have good fixtures regardless of whether they double or not. And on top of that, the reason why I haven't gone for Martinelli, even though he has scored recently, is because Jesus will be coming back soon. So that does mean that Martinelli and Trossard will share minutes. So overall, Odegaard should still be the third Arsenal asset that we go for, right, on top of the Arsenal defender and Saka, right? And then Rashford, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We do have to go with Rashford. Then up front, Tony, Kane, and Haaland, right? So Haaland, of course, is going to be in every draft. As for Kane, the reason why he is now in the squad, because initially it was Ollie Watkins, but now because he plays in game week 28, Harry Kane is someone that is much better than Ollie Watkins, and on top of that, he does have a good fixture run as well, right? So that's why Harry Kane comes in. And before that, when we went for Ollie Watkins, there was so much money left in the bank, right? So there's all the reason for me to upgrade Ollie Watkins up to Harry Kane, who is the better asset, right, in respect. And then I've gone for Ivan Toney, of course, the Brentford attacker of choice, but he is having this, betting issue, right, that kind of makes it a little bit tricky whether he will get banned soon or not. So the thing is, I'm going to bring him in now, right, and if he happens to be banned slightly earlier, then I can just do Tony to Mbeumo, which is a pretty easy 1-for-1 swap, right? So I'm not too afraid of Tony at this point in time, so that's why he's in the draft. So for captaincy, I'm likely to captain Saka and vice-captain Haaland, and then moving forward in the next couple of game weeks, I do have some plans, right? So for 3.3 mil in the bank, I can do quite a couple of things, but basically what this draft allows me to do is to get 6 doublers in game week 27. I can get to 10 playing players in game week 28, and on top of that, in game week 29, based on free transfers and who I decide to take out, I can get anywhere from 12 to 14 doublers for the double game week in game week 29 where I intend to bench boost. So this is where I'm at the moment. 3.3 in the bank allows me to do loads of things. Also, if injuries pop up here and there, I will have some flexibility as well. So the wildcard has already been activated. It's just a matter of who I'm going to choose. Brighton attackers, some are yellow flagged now on the screen right now. So some changes here and there that I will confirm on the deadline stream. hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like and also subscribe as well. And I'll catch you guys on the big deadline stream for Game Week 26, 3 hours before the deadline. But for now, that's it, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Bye-bye.